everyone, Chef Jess here. Thanks for joining me today as I continue to cook my way through the Mayberry Cookbook. Today I'm going to do 4 simple recipes that I've already prepped for and I'm ready to just bust right through. So first off, we're going to start with Barney's Fort Lauderdale chili. And it says underneath in a little quotation, a not too well kept secret from Miss Mindlebright. I think in this picture, this is the character Miss Mindlebright, to give you a little bit of a vision. So here's the recipe. It's the top one, Fort Lauderdale chili. There's a lot of tomato products in this. Let me read this to you. We have some oil, chopped onion, garlic, green peppers, ground beef, tomatoes, tomato paste, tomato sauce, chili powder, all-purpose flour, water, salt, pepper, cumin, Worcestershire, bay leaves, Tabasco, red pepper to taste, and kidney beans. Whew, that's a lot. I am going to make just a couple of substitutions today on this. I'm going to add a little bit of green and yellow pepper, which I'll show you when we get started. And what else do I want to do? Oh, I'm going to do a mixture of kidney and pinto beans because I just love having multiple beans in my chili. So let's get started. As you can see, I have all my ingredients ready to go. And in this recipe, they heat it in a large kettle and they throw everything in except for the beans, and then they simmer for 1 hour. Well, I kind of want this to go a little bit quicker today so we can get through all of our recipes. So I'm going to use my Instant Pot, which you've seen me use in many videos, and we only have to set this for 1 minute and let it pressure cook. So let's get started. Let's see. Right now we're only about a little over a week away from Christmas, and it's just been a crazy month, but I've been having a lot of fun cooking and seeing people enjoy their parties with families and friends. It's been fun. Okay, I'm putting it on saute right now, and I'm going to go ahead and add the first ingredients, which is oil. So I'm going to add a little olive oil in the pan so things don't stick. Okay, let that warm up for a second. While that's warming up, I will go ahead and tell you when we get this chili cooking, I'm going to be making a chili cheese cornbread that's also in this cookbook. So gosh, I'm excited. This just sounds so good. What could be better in December than some chili and cornbread? I have my green bell pepper and onions chopped up. I think it calls for, 2 green peppers, but this recipe serves 24 people, so it serves a pretty massive group. Probably a great recipe to use for family gatherings or if you just want to have some freezer chili left over. But I am going to cut this down just a little bit because I don't want 24 servings right now. So I did a little less, maybe about 1 green bell pepper. And I also added some yellow sweet pepper in there and 1 onion. So I think that's fine enough. We're going to throw that into the hot oil. Always make sure your oil is hot before you start to saute things. It just helps to get it browned quickly. If you just throw it into a cold pan, it actually keeps the pan from heating quicker. So just a small tip. Another ingredient I'm adding that's not in the recipe is I had a lot of mushroom stems left. I made stuffed mushrooms for a party a few days ago, and I don't like to waste anything. So I have chopped up the mushroom stems, and I'm just going to throw those right on in. So that's about a cup. Okay, and it just says to throw everything in except for the beans, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go down the list and start adding all the ingredients. So what's next? Ground beef, yes, and garlic, but we'll wait and do the garlic after this. So I'd say, how much ground beef does this call for? 4.5 pounds. We're just probably going to do 3 pounds. So I'm going to get some scissors. I'm using 85-15 lean, but ground beef, but you can use whatever percentage you prefer. Just know that there's going to be more fat content, you know, if you do like 75, or there'll be less content if you do like 93. So I'm kind of in the middle. I have a little bit of fat content, not too much, not too little. So it'll give it some good flavor. Let's get this ground beef in. One more. There we go. And now I'm going to use this time, ooh, I got some meat on my hands. Yick, yick, yick. Okay, this time I'm going to use this minced garlic paste. This stuff is pretty darn tasty too. So I'll do little squirts of those, probably about 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to go ahead and do salt and pepper in here. So do a nice hefty couple of pinches of salt. And probably about a half a teaspoon of pepper. I feel like I want to bring y'all close so you can see what's going on in the pot. There we go. How is that? Okay, add my pepper. All right. Calls for some cumin too. It says 3 tablespoons. I'm just going to do a couple of tablespoons. Just kind of eyeball. This will probably be 2 teaspoons because honestly, I think I'm going to be out of cumin after this one. There. Pretty much used the whole can. There we go. Okay. Calls for red pepper to taste. So I'm just going to do a few dashes of red pepper, not too much. Chili powder, chili powder, 4.5 tablespoons. We'll probably just eyeball and do 3 dumps, which is probably about 3 tablespoons. Then we'll taste it later and see if we need to add more. So, Worcestershire. I know I saw it on here, just to taste. So I'm just gonna do, I don't know, it's probably about 8 dashes of it. And we're just going to ground this beef really good before we add the rest of the liquidy things. I think it calls for Tabasco. I'll just do a little bit of Cholula in there. There. Just a few dashes. I'm sure you don't have to add the Cholula or hot sauce if you're not, you don't like any spice at all or you can't handle it. I mean, same with the peppers too. I'm sure you can do this recipe with no peppers. Just gonna keep grinding this up till it gets pretty browned all over and most of the pink is gone. If you don't have an Instant Pot, you can follow this recipe and just do it in a regular pot or kettle and then slow cook it for an hour. I mean, that'll work too. Or you could probably even use your crock pot and put it on low for 4 hours while you know, low for 8 hours, high for 4 hours, low 8 hours. It's a, throw it together in the morning, go to work, come back, and your chili's ready for dinner. All right, our meat's starting to brown, and there's not as much pink left, so I'm going to go ahead and start throwing in the rest of the ingredients. So it says 3 pounds of tomatoes. I'm cutting that down. I decided instead of using fresh tomatoes, I'm going to do these canned fire roasted diced tomatoes. I'm going to do about 2 cans of these. Okay, let's stir that in. All right. Then next is tomato sauce, 24 ounces. I have a 25-ounce jar. I think I'm going to use the whole thing. Add some water to the jar and get all the goods out. Can't waste that. I bought you can get regular tomato sauce. I just like using marinara because marinara has really delicious flavors. I got the San Marzano marinara sauce. Tastes so good. All right, yeah. Starting to look like something now, isn't it? And tomato paste. It says 3 6-ounce cans, which sounds like a lot of tomato paste. So I'm just gonna do, I already have one open. I'm just gonna do, this is probably about 3/4 can. Then I'll do 1 more can. Okay. 1 more can. There we go. What's next? We did the chili powder. It calls for boiling water, 1.5 cups, and I think I just did about 1 cup since I cut down a few things. 1 cup boiling water. I feel like we're almost there. I think it calls for bay leaves, so we'll do a couple of bay leaves. Sounds good. I don't think I've ever put bay leaves in my chili, but geez, I bet. I mean, I put it in all the other soups and stews I do. I'm going to do 3. I'm going to give this a stir. It calls for putting flour in here, but I don't want to put it in here because every time I put flour in my Instant Pot and then do pressure cook, it makes the pot stick and burn at the bottom. So I'm just going to let this cook, and then we can decide afterwards if I need to add flour at the end. Okay, then we'll wait to add the beans. So there that is. Get that tomato paste in. Okay, I'm gonna go, that's everything. So I'm gonna set this to pressure cook. So cancel the saute, put the lid on, and then we're gonna set to high pressure cook for just 1 minute. Start. So there we have it. Now that that's going, I'm going to take a little short break and get ready to show you how to make this delicious chili cheese cornbread. Hey everyone, I'm back. I got everything set up for our second recipe, which is going to be Carlotta corn muffins with cheese and chilies. There's the recipe for you to gander at. Yum, I'm really excited for this. Anything with cheese and chilies in it is just delicious. So it calls for 1 cup of cornmeal, yellow, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 2 eggs separated, 1/4 cup shortening melted, 2 cups heavy cream, 1 cup grated Monterey Jack or jalapeno cheese, 3/4 cup corn kernel strained, 1/2 of a cup diced red bell pepper, and 1/4 of a cup fresh jalapeno or mild green chilies. So I have chosen some sweet red pepper as instead of regular red bell pepper. I didn't have like regular yellow cornmeal, but I had polenta and I had masa. So those are still considered corn. So I did a little mixture of both polenta and masa. I'm doing this golden sweet corn in a can, and I'm doing these diced green chilies. So I actually do have shortening that I had to use from another event. So I am going to use shortening. Shocker, because I like to use something better like coconut oil or just good old-fashioned butter. So let's get started. Have a set up here and everything but a bowl to make the cornbread in. Isn't that funny? Okay, let me get a bowl. I'll use this big red bowl. All right, so it says I have to melt the shortening and I haven't done that yet. So I guess I should get on top of that. It says to have your muffin cups ready and preheat your oven to 425. So I'll go ahead and make sure my oven is at 425. I have some stuff going in the oven right now, but I'll get it out right now for our next two recipes, which involve sweet potatoes. All right, 425. Think. There we go, all set. And I need a spoon. See if I can find a spoon. There we go. And let's see what we start. Combine the cornmeal, flour, sugar, salt, baking powder, egg yolks, melted shortening, and cream in a mixing bowl. So I think I'll go ahead and just melt my shortening. Let's see how much we need. Shortening, 1/4 of a cup. I'm going to use this measuring cup, which is just a little dirty. It's just got little chili remnants in it, so it's not really going to hurt. Okay. And I'm not really going to measure. I'm actually just going to eyeball this. So I think this is about 1/4 of a cup. I'm going to go put that in the microwave. Okay. It's not quite melted yet. I'll put it in one more time. See if I can get it a little more melted. 30 more seconds. Let's see what else we can go ahead and add in this bowl. Cornmeal. So 1 cup of cornmeal. There we go. 1 cup of flour. There we go. Salt. Salt, it says 1½ teaspoons of salt. One and a half teaspoons of salt. Done. Tablespoon of baking powder. Fresh new can. Makes it even better. All right, done with that stuff. Okay, I think that shortening's done, so I'll get it out. Oh yeah, now it's melted. Much better. Okay, we'll do that last. Sugar. 2 tablespoons of sugar. One, two. Okay. Egg yolks and cream. Okay, here's my egg yolks. I've already separated my 2 eggs. Egg yolks going in. Got to get all that good stuff. That's the best part, right? Egg yolk and cream. It says 2 cups. It's a lot of cream. Where'd I put? Oh yeah, I accidentally put my measuring cup in the flour bin. Okay, 2 cups. This is going to be some rich cornbread. I'm excited. Okay, there we go, 2 cups. Kind of scrape it out and get all that heavy cream. Okay. I'm going to give this a stir and then I'll add in that shortening. Shortening going in. Okay. Okay, and then it's now nice and mixed. It says next we stir in the cheese, corn, bell pepper, and chilies. That's easy enough. So bell pepper. Oh, I don't want the bowl in there. Gosh. Okay, I have a cup of bell pepper, 1 cup of cheese. It says pepper jack or a jalapeno cheese, but I did sharp cheddar mixed with pepper jack. So yeah, I like sharp cheddar with green chilies. Just a match made in heaven. Okay, it's about a 1/4 cup of green chilies going in. And sweet corn. I think that says, about 3/4 of a cup. So pretty sure it's about 3/4 of a cup, give or take. Strained, of course. And stir that up. Now, usually the cornbread I make is like this and you just add eggs. But what makes this recipe different from my typical cornbread I make is that it has the eggs separated. And then what we're going to do is whisk these egg whites and fold them in. So I am really excited to see if this makes the cornbread like really light and fluffy. Then I might just consider doing that from now on when I make my go-to recipe. Okay, now I think the only thing we have left to do is beat the egg whites and fold them in, and we are ready to place it in our muffin cups. And I get my little beaters out. We're gonna whip these up. Okay, here we go. I think these are whipped enough, don't you? Because you start to get those peaks that form. So let's go ahead and dump these in. fold away. Okay, I think that's good. You don't want to overmix when you're adding egg whites. Just get it in there, give a few stirs and folds, and we are ready to add it to our muffin cups. And I'm going to use a portion scoop to make this easy. So, yum. I have to freeze some of these. This recipe makes a lot of muffins. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Almost got equally 12, but we just have a little bit more to make a couple more. So there it is. I'm going to go pop this in the oven. It says for 425, how many minutes? 12 to 15 minutes. You don't want to let them get too brown. All right, y'all. Okay, they're going in the oven. 425, 12 to 15 minutes. Boy, oh boy, that was sure easy. Okay, now that we're done with the muffins, I think the chili is just about ready to be finished up. So let's take off this lid. Ooh, that's hot. That is hot and bubbly. Yummy. So now all we have to do is add beans, I think. Yeah, that's all we have left. And then I'm going to taste it because if I want to add anything to it, I am. And I have a feeling I'm going to want to add sugar. Well, I have y'all way up there. Hello. Let's bring you down just a little bit. There we go. That's a little better. Let's add these beans in here. So I have 2 cans of pinto beans drained going in. Then we're going to do 2 cans of red kidney beans. You could probably do any beans you want. You can probably even buy those beans that come as like a trio, you know, with the pinto, the black, and the kidney. I mean, you could probably even do white beans. I mean, there's just so many beans to choose from. Okay, where's my spatula? Let's see how this turned out. Oh my gosh, I just made a mess all over the place. It's not the thing I want to do is get chili all over the counter. Okay. See, I'm glad I didn't add the flour because it's already burning on the bottom and that would have just been even worse. So look at that, y'all. It's very meaty. I'm gonna have to give it a taste, but I know it's really hot right now. So get a little spoon. It's pretty good. I don't know if I really want to add anything. I like it the way it is. So that's fine by me. I'm going to wait for my cornbread to finish so I can put it all in a bowl and do one big taste of it all together. So let me go ahead and take a break and clean up this mess I've made everywhere. And when we come back, we're going to make a recipe with sweet potatoes. I can't wait. I just finished pulling these straight out of the oven, and I tell you what, they weren't lying. You got to keep an eye on them because they will brown fast. But I caught them in time. There they are. Look at those cornbread muffins with green chilies and cheese. Yeah, I am ready to put together a bowl of this with chili. What bowl do I want to use? Let's see here. I guess I'll do this one again. I feel like I'm always using this bowl. Well, that's okay. Scoop out some chili from our pot over here. Yum. There she be. Get one of these muffins. They're crumbly. Let me get a knife. Can y'all see okay? There we go. I'm gonna get one of these out. I don't know which one. I'll get the darkest one out. All right. Oh, look at that. I put them in muffin cups. So. Yum. Okay, I just have to try this by itself first before dipping it into the chili. Whew, it's hot. Just pulled it out. Here, I'll try the top. That's really different. It's not in a bad way, though. It's pretty darn good. It's, yum. Look at that. Piping hot. I'm going to see if I can take this wrapper off and stick it in my chili here. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Yum, let's take a little scoop of chili and a little cornbread. I can imagine this would probably be good with sour cream and cheddar cheese too. Just load me up, baby. That's delicious. All right. I'll be right back. I'm setting up for our sweet potato casserole. So give me a second and we'll get started on that. Hi everyone, I'm back after eating a big fat bowl of chili. It was so yummy. We're going to move on to our third recipe. We're going to do a couple of side dishes. Our first one's going to be Rally's Budding Executive Sweet Tater Casserole. Here's the recipe. Okay, and I'll read you what's in it. 3 cups mashed cooked sweet potatoes, 1 cup of sugar, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, a 1/3 cup milk, 1/2 cup of margarine, 1 cup brown sugar, a 1/3 cup all-purpose flour, 1/3 cup margarine, and 1 cup pecans. I'm changing some things up. I'm going to use heavy cream instead of milk, and it'll be nice and rich and delicious. I'm going to do monk fruit sugar instead of regular sugar, and I'm going to do coconut sugar instead of brown sugar just to make this a little lighter. I don't have pecans. I did not buy pecans, so I am going to use sliced almonds instead, which I think will still be just as tasty. So let's get started. I have already cooked my sweet potatoes and I took the skins off. My favorite way to do them is to roast them in the oven. A lot of people like to peel and boil them, but I find that takes away the flavor of the sweet potato. If you just bake the potatoes whole unpeeled, it just traps. It's like cooking in the skin, and it traps, and it becomes more of a sweet, sugary inside when you open these sweet potatoes up. So just a thought if you've never done that. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of mush these up a little bit. And it says, in a mixing bowl, combine the sweet potatoes, sugar, eggs, vanilla, milk, and 1/2 cup of margarine. It's weird it doesn't say melted. But I'm gonna assume they mean melted because I could not be able to mix in a cold stick of butter. So I need to melt some butter. Okay. Half a cup. That just seems like so much, y'all. I think I'm going to cut it down to a quarter of a cup because I just don't want that much fat in these as they use. I'm going to go ahead and microwave this. While that's microwaving, I'll continue to smash my sweet potatoes and add the other things. Eggs, sugar. Sugar is 1 cup. I'm going to use monk fruit sugar and probably do more like 3/4 of a cup. I find recipes always call for way too much sugar, so I cut it down a little. So we'll do 3/4 of a cup. Check my butter. It's pretty melted. Okay. Okay, it says I add the eggs too. So I have 2 eggs going in. I'll do that first before the butter so it doesn't coagulate the butter. Okay, what else? Vanilla, milk. Okay, I'm using cream instead of milk, so that'll be 1/3 cup of milk. Okay. Okay, we got our egg and sugar whisk in there. I'll add my heavy cream. 1/3 going in. Okay. Then let's go ahead and add our 1/4 cup butter. That's a lot of butter. I'm glad I didn't do half a cup. Geez, that would have been like half the recipe. All right. Beat until smooth. Okay. Maybe I'll do that with a little whisk to make it beat together better. Okay, that's good enough. There's nothing wrong with a few chunks. I forgot my vanilla, so let me go get that. My big old bottle of Mexican vanilla. Let's do that. About a teaspoon, it says. I'll eyeball it. Whoop! That's definitely more than a teaspoon, y'all, but vanilla tastes good, right? So let's mix that in. I think that was more like a tablespoon. Oh, wow. Okay. Yummy. Okay. Beat until smooth. Turn into a casserole dish. And then we're going to make the topping. So, casserole dish. Let's see here. That looks good. That looks good. Okay, let's turn this in here. I'm gonna make two of these things. So there's one. Here's number 2. You know I'm gonna have to lick the bowl because it looks too good. I know there's eggs in it, but never died before eating the cookie dough or the brownies. So let me get some more of this out. Okay, how does this taste? Oh my gosh. That vanilla is actually really good. I don't think I made a mistake there. Why are sweet potatoes so good? I don't know. Especially when you add all this good stuff in them. It makes them 10 times even more delicious. Okay, I got a little mess going on. There we go. All right, let's make our topping. I have a 1/3 cup of butter that I'm gonna microwave here. Probably just to get it softened, but not melted. So I'm gonna sit here for a minute and make sure this doesn't melt completely. Yep, there we go. Got it softened. Perfect. I'm gonna get another spoon. And now we're gonna mix in, make sure this is good. I think brown sugar and flour. So in a bowl, combine brown sugar, flour, and a 1/3 cup margarine. Okay. So I'm using this coconut sugar. Love coconut sugar. Okay, coconut sugar. A cup. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to do a 1/2 cup and 1/4. So 3/4 cup again. I don't want to do a whole cup. And then flour. I'm using gluten-free flour because the client who ordered this is gluten-free. So 1/3 cup of flour. All right. Just mix it till you get like a crumble type mixture. All right, there we go. It's coming together now. You know, I have a hankering for some cinnamon. It's not the recipe, but it sounds good. So let's add some cinnamon. I'm just going to do like a little 1/4 teaspoon. Okay, y'all. Now we're ready to finish this up. I feel like this crumble's a little soft, so I might add a little more flour in there. Okay. It's a lot of crumble mixture. I'm getting it more outside the bowl than inside the bowl, to tell you the truth. I don't want to use it all. I think this is pretty good because it'd be a little overwhelming. Okay, I'll clean up my mess. There we go. And save this crumble for something else. And since I don't have pecans, I'll just sprinkle it with these sliced almonds. Okay, we're ready to bake. Okay, let's put these in the oven. It's actually 350, so I'm gonna wait for my muffins to finish and I'll pop these in the oven. And I'm gonna take a short break and clean the counter up, and we're gonna get ready to make our last side dish, which is a kind of like a version of a succotash. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. All right. Woohoo! We finally made it to our last recipe. I am so excited. I am ready to be done for the day, but it has been a good day of cooking. I have next, where is it? Right here, Sarah's succotash. There's your recipe. Sarah's succotash. This one is the easiest recipe of the day. There's a little quote that says, your party line will be a buzz with this one. So it takes 1 16-ounce can of lima beans. I have frozen instead of canned. 1 12-ounce can of whole kernel corn. Also, I have that frozen. 2 tablespoons of butter. half cup of light cream, and salt and pepper. Woohoo! That is easy enough, right? You know, usually when I make succotash, I don't add cream, so this will be a little bit of a different. I feel like everything back in the day had cream and butter, and almost everything had bacon, which was funny. So, okay, so we got our saucepan going. So we're going to be heating this in a saucepan. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of butter in there. Boop. All right, and I have my frozen lima beans and corn. Okay, that butter's nice and melted. How many? About 16 ounces. What does this say? It is 12 ounces. Well, let's say I'm just gonna do, I'll just do the whole bag. I don't know who I'm fooling myself. So this is about 1 bag of lima beans. One bag of corn. Give that a stir. All it says to do is add salt and pepper. Pretty simple recipe, but sometimes the simplest recipes are the best. You can tell I like pepper. I use it a lot more than salt. Okay, and salt. I'm just going to do this pinch of salt. Big fat pinch of salt. And stir that up. Since this is straight out of the freezer and I didn't really thaw it out, it's probably going to take a little while to soften up. And I don't want to add the cream until last minute when this is nice and bubbly. So we'll just let this cook for a while. All right. Our veggies are finally defrosted and I'm ready to add half a cup of cream. I'm going to dump that in. Give it a stir and let it cook for a couple more minutes. I'm gonna give this a taste straight out of the pan, see how it is. All right. Actually, I do not think, I know I have my mouth full. I don't think that I would like the cream in the succotash. That would be a little bit too overpowering, but it's great. They weren't lying. This is a pretty delicious dish. So, yeah, there you have it. Okay, look at that. All right, here you have it. There's our succotash. Sarah's succotash. All right. Thanks for joining me today as I cook my way through Mayberry's cookbook. I got 4 more recipes out the way, but I'm sure there's still about a couple hundred more to go. So it's going to take a while, but we're going to get there. So I'd love you to like and subscribe to my page. Thanks for joining me. Have a good rest of your week.